Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. All right, my name is Adam Levy. I'm here in Los Angeles, California, and this is episode 27 of my Guitar Tips video blog series, or vlog if you like. We vlog it here each and every Friday. There's a new episode. And this week, the guitar tip is play like a composer. Play like a composer. This week's tip came really out of, as many of these tips do, came out of a real-life teaching experience. I teach privately here in my home studio. And I also am the chair of the guitar department at the Los Angeles College of Music in Pasadena. And I was talking in one of my classes, a jazz class, about the value of composing solos, of taking a tune that you're working on and actually getting some manuscript paper and a pen or pencil and writing out a solo. Now, if you don't do that, what students tend to do is just, and this is true, I'm talking about jazz because this is what happened. I was in a jazz class, but this could be true in rock, blues, country, any style that has guitar solos in it, you could compose a guitar solo. So I had brought in this solo that I had written down based on a jazz tune, and we were talking about it. And I started explaining that the value of composing solos, which is that you start to get more intentional about what you're doing. You'll find that if you compose a lot of solos over and over again, eventually that could creep into your improvised playing, which is what you want. You want your playing, I think, at least this is what I want, in my playing, is to be really intentional. It doesn't mean that you're trying to have it be, precious or careful. You could compose something that's dangerous or difficult or, on the edge or whatever. I'm not advocating that you need to write things that are always restrained, but just intentional. So if you want to write a solo with a lot of craziness in it, then do that. If you want to write a solo that's got a lot of thematic development, you could do that. If you want to write a solo that has a shape where you start low and just go build, you could do that. If you want to have little, peaks and valleys throughout, you could do that. In fact, that's something that they had us do when I was in music school, and we were composing. When you're writing an arrangement of a tune for orchestra or whatever, actually they had us write out like an emotional contour. So you have like a little graph, and you see where the peaks and valleys are, and you do that with orchestration: more instruments, less instruments, different dynamics and stuff. But even within your guitar solo, you could do that, and you could pick out the points where you want to have more going on or less going on. And if you don't do that, what students tend to do is just look at the chart of whatever tune they're trying to play, and they'll play some pet licks, things that they're comfortable with, and then they'll get lost and then get found again, and then play some more favorite licks and then get lost and found again. And that's fine. That's a normal part of growth. It's like a kid learning to walk. They have to fall over and take a few steps and fall over again and keep working on it, and eventually they learn to walk. So there's a real value in that. But this is something else. I'm talking about learning to be more intentional and just taking stock and taking responsibility for what you're playing. Anyway, one of my students, as I was talking about this, asked me, what exactly was I saying? Did I mean that you should just play a solo and then go back and transcribe what you played? And that wasn't what I meant. My intention was more about sitting down, maybe even without your guitar, and just writing a solo from what you hear in your mind, and then figuring out how to play it in your imagination, I should say, and then figuring out how to play it. But then I thought about it, and really that's also a valuable thing that you could do, which is play a solo. Just go for it. Play whatever you want to play and record that, and then go back and transcribe it and see, there's going to be some good stuff in there. There's going to be some filler. There's going to be some, probably some outright mistakes or notes that don't sound so good. But if you start from there, then that's an opportunity to build on your strengths. The stuff that sounds good, you can leave that in, but shape the stuff around it so that the stuff that sounds good already starts to sound even better, because you're setting it up better, you're transitioning from phrase to phrase better. So that's a totally different kind of thing, but also really valuable. And again, helps you take stock of what you actually sound like. A lot of guitarists, maybe every instrumentalist, they play and they just sort of put it out into the atmosphere, and they don't really take stock of it. It's an opportunity, if you record yourself and then transcribe it, to see what the heck you're actually up to. When we transcribe other people's solos, it's easy to get lost in the mathematics of it and go, oh, well, it looks like they're playing an F major 7 arpeggio there, and then looks like a diminished scale for 5 notes, and then it changes to a blues line. When you see it in somebody else's playing, it always tends to look more complicated or mathematical or theoretical. But really, all of us, play with some mixture of scales and arpeggios and licks and beautiful accidents and whatever. And if you can start to recognize that in your own playing, it may help you realize that some of your favorite guitar players aren't that far away from what you're trying to do. It just so take stock of what they're doing, take stock of what you're doing, and also try playing like a composer. So put the guitar down and just be Mozart, and write a little theme and develop it and develop it and develop it, and turn a little idea into a kick-ass guitar solo. So guitar tip number 27, play like a composer. For guitar tips here in Los Angeles, I'm Adam Levy. Stay tuned and take good care.